I just learned not every family has a poop knife. My family uses a big shared knife to break up our poo. I thought this was pretty normal. Big poo is a thing after all, but I'm just starting to learn in my early 20s that other people do not do this. I don't even know how I'm supposed to adjust to this information, but it got really embarrassing when I wound up requesting a poop knife in a public setting. My family poops big. Maybe it's genetic, maybe it's our diet, but everyone births giant logs of crap. If anyone has laid a mega poop, you know that sometimes it won't flush. It lays across the hole in the bottom of the bowl, and the vortex of draining water merely gives it a spin as it mocks you. Growing up, this was a common enough occurrence that our family had a poop knife. It was an old, rusty kitchen knife that hung on a nail in the laundry room, only to be used for that purpose. It was normal to walk through the hallway and have someone call out, "Hey, can you get me the poop knife?" I thought it was standard kit. You have your plunger, your toilet brush, and your poop knife. Fast forward to age 22. It's been a day or two between poops, and I'm over at my friend's house. My friend was the local dealer, and always had guests over, because you can't buy grass without sitting on your backside and sampling it for an hour. I excuse myself and lay a gigantic turd. I look down and see that it's a sideways one, so I crack the door and call out for my friend. He arrives, and I ask him for his poop knife. My what? Your poop knife, I say. I need to use it, please. What the frick is a poop knife? Obviously he has one, but maybe he calls it by a more delicate name. A fecal cleaver? A dung divider? A guano glaive? I explain what it is I want and why I want it. He starts giggling, then laughing. Then lots of people start laughing. It turns out the music stopped and everyone heard my pleas through the door. It also turns out that none of them had poop knives. It was just my messed up family with their messed up bowels. F my life. I told this to my wife last night, who was amused and horrified at the same time. It turns out that she did not know what a poop knife was and had been using the old rusty knife hanging in the utility closet as a basic utility knife. Thankfully, she didn't cook with it, but used it to open Amazon boxes. She will be getting her own utility knife now. A common question is, why was this not in the bathroom instead of the laundry room? The answer is that we only had one poop knife, and the laundry room was central to all three bathrooms. I have no idea why we didn't have 3 poop knives. All I know is that we didn't. We had the one. Possibly because my father was notoriously cheap about the weirdest things. So yes, we shared our poop knife. I don't think I've ever been this upset by a Reddit post in my life. And if you've been with our channel for a minute, you know that's quite a statement. It doesn't even bother me that this original poster's family had a poop knife. It doesn't bother me that he somehow didn't realize this was unique. That's fine. You grow up the way you grow up, and you don't always realize that it's unique to you. What bothers me is that every Amazon package he and his wife have ever ordered was opened with the poo knife. There are particles of poo on everything he owns from Amazon. Books, pillows, shirts. I have no idea because he doesn't go into that kind of detail, but the implications are massive. Almost as massive as his superhuman turds. But I also can't shake the feeling that this story isn't as weird as it sounds. We all had family traditions, right? Did you have any traditions that your friends would have thought were weird if they heard about them? Let us know some of your more embarrassing family stories down in the comments below. My non-binary son wants to get pregnant with a sugar glider. Over the summer, my 17-year-old son came to live with me and changed almost overnight. He announces he's suddenly non-binary and wants to be they and called Blue as his name. I supported him, and on the advice of his mom, who was not surprised, as she says this has been coming, I keep my mouth shut about my real thoughts. This is just a phase, and he will outgrow it. I mean, I completely gave in. Calling him they, I tell them I don't care about anything except whether they're happy. Yes, at first. I let them wear whatever clothes they want, as long as they earn money to buy clothes themselves. I'm very supportive when they introduce me to their significant other, who is also non-binary. Fine. I take my child's and their significant other to a very nice restaurant, because it is the significant other's birthday. Honestly, I don't mind. I draw the line at this. They announce they are pregnant. I don't laugh or anything, but I do have to point out that is medically impossible. My child says they know, but wants to be treated like they're pregnant, to experience what it's like. What does this actually mean? After 9 months, they want me to buy them a sugar glider. Like, if they follow pregnancy restrictions for 9 months and force themselves to wear maternity clothes and everything, I have to buy a sugar glider baby for them. I am totally willing to let them have a sugar glider right now. They just have to spend their own money and take care of it. But I'm not going to spend 9 months playing pretend pregnancy. I will not allow them to wear maternity clothes or stop smoking in my own house because it's bad for the baby. Am I the jerk for refusing to take part in this delusional behavior? There's a lot of weird vocabulary in this story. Sure, if you want to smoke in your house, you can do that. But what is this about allowing your kid to dress a certain way? You have literally no control over that. If the kid wants to wear maternity clothes, what are you actually going to do about it? Nothing, because you can't really stop someone from dressing a certain way, especially when they can simply stop visiting you if they want. There's no mention of a custody agreement forcing the kid to come over, so I assume this isn't an issue. Honestly, the comments can't decide if this is even real. It definitely sounds like rage bait, but it's also just a little less crazy than some stories we've seen on Reddit. It's not an accident I included this after the poop knife. I wanted to establish that we live in an unfortunate world. The notion of a teen wanting to get pregnant with a sugar glider should feel a lot more normal to you now than it would have 10 minutes ago. But even if we accept this as real, the father in this post is problematic. Look, sometimes being non-binary really is a phase. People have to experiment sometimes to figure out where they land. But assuming that it's a phase is still problematic when you don't yet know otherwise. It might easily not be, and then what was the point in spending so much time saying that it was? To sound like a jerk? Congratulations, mission accomplished. Just be a dad to the kid who's presenting themselves to you. Let them do the work of figuring themselves out. That's not your role. Your role is to support whoever they wind up being. Is that really so hard? If you made it this far in the video, consider liking and subscribing for more videos coming. My sister's boyfriend doesn't know what marinara is, and that's a problem. I went on a double date with my sister Jamie and her new boyfriend Paul. We went to an Italian place. Paul goes on about how the word for red in Italian is marinara, and the word for white is Alfredo. So that's how he remembers the sauce names. I told Paul I took Italian in high school and it's rosso and bianco. It even says so on the wine menu. Paul started yelling at me and calling me wrong. Those are the names for wines, not colors. My husband showed him on Google the translation for red and white. Paul told my sister he was leaving and called us stupid jerks for how wrong we were. Paul and my sister left without paying their bill or even getting some food. When we asked the server, he said the drinks are no problem and not to worry about it. My sister texted me later and asked why I think I always have to be right, saying that I embarrassed Paul, and it was immature of my husband. She said we didn't have to argue with him over something so silly. She called my husband and I bullies. Then she told me that I don't have to say to people when they're wrong and embarrass them in public like that. This story is actually kind of infamous on Reddit right now because the term red flag has been replaced with marinara. Not everyone is okay with that because people can find ways to be offended by literally anything. That's really not the most ridiculous part of this story. The craziest part of this story is just that the couple bailed on dinner over what sounds like a pretty mundane disagreement. People get words wrong all the time. It's not that big a deal. I don't know this OP. If they make a habit of correcting people, I could see where that might get kind of annoying. But if it was just this one time, then Paul was definitely the one who overreacted. It's not like knowing how to speak Italian is such a common skill that you need to get embarrassed over it. And besides, marinara is good, Alfredo is good. Enjoying Italian food, even for ridiculous reasons, is perfectly acceptable. This just sounds like a nothing issue that got blown out of proportion, and being corrected on it really wasn't that insulting. Learn the lesson and move on. It's that easy. I can't be around my stepson if he keeps eating disgusting ketchup. My girlfriend has 3 children. She has 12 and 11-year-old daughters and a 9-year-old son who she has exclusive custody of. I moved in with her recently, and we've been talking about marriage. In general, I hate tomatoes for some reason. What's weird is that I can remember when I was a really young kid, I used to really like tomato soup, and I even used to eat ketchup sandwiches. But I don't know if I got food poisoning from tomato soup or ketchup or what while I was a child somewhere along the way, early on, or what. All I know is that I developed a really strong aversion to most tomato products. Tomato soup and stewed tomatoes absolutely turn my stomach. Both the sight, but especially the smell. Ketchup I can sort of be okay with on burgers, hot dogs, and fries, but that's about it. I gag when I see people eating it on anything else, especially eggs. Strangely enough, I love pizza and pasta with marinara though. My girlfriend's son puts ketchup on everything. Any and all meat, his eggs, baked potatoes, macaroni and cheese, and so on. He douses everything with ketchup. I like the kid, but I frankly can't stand to eat with him for this reason. My girlfriend has a thing about her family eating dinner together and turning off TV, cell phones, and so on while they do it. I understand what she's trying to do as a parent, and I applaud it, but again, I just can't sit and eat with her son while he piles ketchup on everything. I've instead started to excuse myself and go off into the other room and eat my dinner on a TV tray while I watch something on the computer. My girlfriend doesn't like this and says that I'm undermining her attempts at sending a message to her kids about sitting together as a family and having meals. She also said that her son really likes and admires me and can't understand why I won't eat with them. I told her that I will gladly sit down with him and explain how some people just have weird and irrational food aversions and how I'm one of those people, but that it has nothing to do with him. But she's convinced that this will hurt his feelings no matter how gently I go about it, and that I should be making more of an effort to get over my stupid hang-ups. I don't feel as if I can really help it, but my girlfriend thinks I actually could help it if I'd try. Am I the jerk? This is one of those issues where the comments are a bit divided, and I sort of get it. If this OP really reacts that harshly to the smell of ketchup, I can understand why he doesn't want to be around it. At the same time, watching movies on his computer while eating elsewhere does sort of undermine the anti-screen message his partner is trying to send her kids. It seems like there should be a compromise where he doesn't eat around the ketchup, but also doesn't violate the other rules she's trying to instill with her children. Also, if he can apparently handle marinara, then he's not as strictly opposed to tomatoes as he says. He just hates ketchup. I assume he's from Chicago or he's a character from a Clint Eastwood movie. But either way, explaining it to the kid shouldn't be that hard. The fact his lover won't let him do that is kind of weird. I honestly don't know where to land on this one. What do you think? Is he the jerk or not, and why? Let us know in the comments. My sister-in-law's pregnancy overshadowed my cancer announcement. I live with my boyfriend. With a long history of weird symptoms, I found out that I have cancer a month ago. My doctor explained to me that people with my type of cancer have about a 40% chance of surviving their next 5 years, which was very upsetting news. I was inconsolable for a few days and stayed home and cried, and my boyfriend was incredibly supportive. I'm still coming to terms with the fact that I may not be alive in the next few years and have been speaking to a counselor. I live around a 2-hour drive away from my immediate family, so I told them that I have important news I need to give them in person, and my boyfriend kindly drove me to their town. It wasn't easy, but I explained to them that I have cancer and my odds of surviving with the treatment. Everyone went silent and had blank looks. Then, after about 2 minutes of silence, my older brother's wife announces that she's pregnant with their 3rd child, and everyone immediately congratulates her and starts talking about babies, and acts as if I hadn't said anything at all. Me and my boyfriend were stunned and decided to leave. I sent the family group chat a message later on and explained that everyone's reaction to my news made me feel uncared about. My older brother responded and said that I'm not the only one affected by my news, and that I should understand that everyone else felt awkward and didn't know what to say. I said that I feel like my sister-in-law owes me an apology for announcing her pregnancy right after my cancer announcement. My sister-in-law admits that it was weird, but said she doesn't think she should apologize because she was trying to lighten the mood. I got too upset to continue the conversation, and have been giving my family the silent treatment, as everyone is taking my sister-in-law's side. My family are saying that I'm being selfish and guilt-tripping them into getting my own way, and that having cancer doesn't mean I get to be treated like royalty. My older brother even made a remark that I'm acting like a typical youngest sibling. Am I the jerk? Most agree that there are probably no jerks here. It's probably true that the family just didn't know how to react. This is still a really unfortunate scenario, and the OP is totally justified to feel like it was weird that everyone reacted so much more to the pregnancy news than to her own news. That couldn't have been a good feeling. I doubt the sister-in-law was really trying to hurt her, even though that's exactly what wound up happening. That said, it's crazy that the family wouldn't try at least a little bit harder to see things from OP's side. Of course she's struggling with this. That isn't the same as wanting to be treated like royalty. So no, it doesn't seem like OP is the jerk here. It sounds like OP is just struggling with some really hard news, and wishes that was taken a bit differently by the family. But what do you think? Is anyone in this family the jerk, or was it all one big misunderstanding? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, along with why you think this family was the jerk or not. Please leave your stories in the comments. I'd love to make a video of them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.